This show is so unapologetically all about the thigh master race that it's not even funny, but man, Touka as an MC is an absolute riot. He likes big thighs, and he cannot lie. It is literally his mantra, it feels like. And when you get introduced to the princess, which the legendary hero, originally, if they ever meet again, it would be because they agree that they're gonna get married. He has a potential fiance wife in the making here who has an issue where basically she can't store mana in her body, so she not only has to take these expensive potions to recover it so she doesn't completely die, the fact that she can pound back an entire wedding cake just for an appetizer for her breakfast, and the fact that she gets so chubby just like that, and just Touka goes from like, you know what, I was kind of tiptoeing on the idea on how much I want it. I can date her, but I'm not going to marry her. I'm going to kind of wine and dine here and just get out before she thinks we're too committed. He saw the thick thighs and he completely changed tune. He's like, you know what, maybe I can settle down for the right pair of thighs. And oh my, this episode was a riot. Full live reaction available on my Patreon if you're interested to see my full uncut thoughts. This was a hilarious episode. I'd actually say out of the three, this would be my personal pick. I think episode 2, while good, episode 1 it kind of felt like a little step up from where episode 2 went. But episode 3, it feels like this show, yeah, it's on the right course. It knows what it's doing. The very end of the episode last week, I think it was after the credits, they tease a man who's all about bones. And we get introduced fully to said man earlier than I realized. It wasn't until he put on the mask that I realized that this weird orphanage director was actually the same man they teased last week, but holy, he's just as sick and perverted as Touka, just in a different way. I mean, I'm not one to kink shame, but honestly, if bones are your thing, that's where I gotta draw the line and say you're messed up, because the fact that you have Yunya just kind of like stripped down, tied up, I mean, literally, I'm fully convinced Yunya's character is simply there to sell figures, because every episode they put her in a new slutty outfit. Maybe it'll be a month from now, maybe it'll be a year from now, but there's going to be a 20-figure line of Yunya just in all these outfits, and you know they're going to sell like hotcakes. But he's not interested in the flesh. No, he has x-ray vision that he can see her bones, and I'm like, okay, this dude's a little messed up. And the fact that he found a necromancer, that being Henri, that he can pin the blame for all the bad things that are about to happen, yeah, we're definitely in a pretty intense situation. So far what this show's actually done is it's kind of took perverted humor, but an interesting world and story, and meshed them into an actually pretty good combination. The fact that in any other show, if you were placed in the legendary hero's body, well, yeah, I mean, you're not cut out for it originally, but you're the legendary hero now. You have his skills, you have his abilities, you have his connections, right? But Touka, no, he doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have the mana to repair his own body, so we thought last week was bad with his bony arm. No, we enter this episode, he's a full-blown skeleton who almost got buried alive because he thought being a skeleton would allow him to be a peeping Tom, and Yunya was having none of that. But I love the fact that there's a way for him to recover it if he had mana, but he doesn't, so basically he's just out of luck. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But if you have millions and millions of dollars, you can afford potions which would allow him to recover his body. But obviously, he doesn't have the money. So what about being a legendary hero? Okay, he doesn't have the legendary hero's abilities, but at the very least, he has the legendary hero's appearance. So therefore, oh, this hero who's been all across the globe saving people, he can turn in some favors. Yeah, that doesn't work either, because the legendary hero was such a good guy, he never took rewards. So you bring up the fact that you need money, the king's gonna laugh in your face because he knows that's not who you are. And if you were to impose and try to push on the issue, they would know you're a fake and an imposter. Everything about Touka as a character being forced into this role and being completely not equipped for it, from physical powers, physical form, to the connections and who he is as a person, is pretty fantastic. Though I will say the princess is a pretty fun character so far. It's unfortunate though that basically her number one knight and guard sees right through the BS that she is 100% head over heels for him, but he knows like that isn't the real hero. It's kind of funny, like, it's kind of sad actually, because he gets slapped and basically he's like, leave him alone, this is my future husband. And he's literally seeing through the BS. He's like, this dude's a fraud and a fake. And it's not like we can say as the viewer like, oh, yeah, he's a fake, but he's a good guy at heart. No, Touka's not. He's a perverted bastard. He literally is a scumbag, and we know that, so it just makes that moment all the more painful for the poor bastard. I really think this episode was just 10 out of 10. It took all the amazing comedy of the first episode, it took more of the kind of propelling of the plot and characterization of the second, and turned it into a glorious episode. They are clearly having fun about the silliness of the entire premise. But the fact that there is actually a cool story being told with someone ill-equipped to deal with everything that he has to, and pretty much the entire world is going head over heels into chaos, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty interesting premise. I thought the Bone character would be more of a long-term antagonist, like maybe they'd slowly sprinkle that plot element. They threw us right into it. So I imagine within an episode or two they might resolve this entire conflict here. I doubt they're going to kill Henri. It'd be pretty hard to do because even he said like, okay, nothing's happened to her, so therefore she's probably safe because I'm still here. Yunya feels like you can't get rid of her because she needs to sell figures. And obviously our boy, he's just too ridiculous to not have in the show to make it hilarious to keep us watching. So they're all going to get out of it, but it's just a matter of how and how much their connection remains to be held together by glue and scotch tape. Because right now it really feels like the worst band of heroes, one of which Henri thinks like there's a potential romantic connection between her and the legendary hero someday. Yunya just thinks her childhood friend's a piece of garbage. And our boy's just all about the thick thighs and how it saves lives, and honestly, I'm here for it. I always love having a show like this in a season, whether it's just full-on ecchi humor or it's a mixture like this show where it does have it, but also it doesn't shy away from actually having some fun characters and story hooks. I mean, seriously, just the fact that you can even in like episode 2, like just give that man who just wanted to kill you for the body the biggest piece of cake I think the anime world has seen, and the fact that they're so unapologetically fan service to all characters equally in different ways, I think is pretty great. I mean, Yunya clearly is like the biggest fan service character, but you can't deny the cake from last week. That boy was packing something in the trunk, and I heard apparently the reason that fan service was there was it was something to do with how like they wanted more fan service, so then they just ended up giving it to that man because ultimately like, hey, I gave you what you wanted and it became what we saw. I thought that was pretty funny, but it's a great show. They're introducing a lot of new characters, a lot of new world points, like places and things that have happened with the legendary hero just from side comments, and honestly, he's ill-equipped. I mean, all things considered though, for having a floppy sword, he does make it work, whether making a fake mass or using it as a grappling hook to get on down. But man, the fact that every other scene, the new mask that was given to him by the princess would have a different facial expression, I can't tell if he had multiple masks or if he was literally drawing a different mouth every other scene, but either way, it's pretty funny to think about. But let me know what you're thinking down below. We're now 3 episodes into The Legendary Hero is Dead. Are you going to keep on watching it? I mean, we have a pretty good idea of what the show wants to be now, and like I said, I thought this was the best episode personally, but let me know what you're feeling down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell of course so you can get notified when I upload on the channel, and like I mentioned, we do that full live reaction available on my Patreon. And while you're there, you can also get a video shout-out. So today, we have Dirtberg Jude, Eric Barton, and Eleanor Bailey-Tufts. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.